Hey everyone, welcome back to Air Flight Space. In this video, we're unpacking a massive, and I mean truly massive development in the global aviation world. We're going to be analyzing the brand new 200 aircraft order from Boeing, freshly secured by China right after a major diplomatic summit. But we're not just reading the headlines here. We are going to look at this from a deep financial and strategic perspective. This is a monumental shift after years of absolute silence between the American manufacturer and the Chinese market, and the implications for the global aviation supply chain are huge. So let's dive right in.
All right, so here is exactly how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll look at the 2017 aviation baseline, then the tensions and technical distrust that followed. After that, we'll cover the recent diplomatic summit breakthrough, the actual numbers and order discrepancies, securing the supply chain, and finally, strategic aviation growth.
Okay, starting off with Section 1, the 2017 aviation baseline. We really need to establish the high watermark of U.S.-China aviation deals to set the stage. You know, to really grasp the sheer magnitude of this recent acquisition, we've got to rewind the clock almost a full decade. Think back to 2017. During Donald Trump's visit to Beijing, China agreed to buy 300 Boeing aircraft. That was a huge deal. But then, things went cold. From 2018 all the way through to 2025, a massive commercial gap formed. And during that freeze, international competitors like Airbus and Comac really swooped in and gained significant ground, while Boeing's relationship just sat on ice. It literally wasn't until May 2026, right after another Trump-Xi summit, that the ice finally broke with this new 200 aircraft order. Understanding that nearly decade-long gap, that is absolutely crucial to getting why this new contract is such a game changer for Boeing's global competitiveness. Moving on to Section 2, tensions and technical distrust, and taking a closer look at that nearly decade-long commercial gap. So, what actually caused that massive trough in Boeing's Chinese market share? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was basically a perfect storm. The reporting highlights three major factors that essentially drove Chinese operators away from the airframer. First off, you had the worsening bilateral relations between the U.S. and China. Second, and this is a huge one from an operational standpoint, were the tragic fatal crashes involving the Boeing 737 MAX. And third, the subsequent worldwide grounding of that entire 737 MAX fleet. So you combine that deep geopolitical friction with severe technical distrust, and it literally brought American aircraft deliveries to China to a dead halt for years. Let's pivot to Section 3, the diplomatic summit breakthrough, which acted as the main catalyst for renewed economic cooperation. So what finally flipped the script and reversed this trend? Well, check out this official statement, because it brilliantly captures the shift in tone. Right after the meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping, Beijing came out and declared that, quote, aviation is a key area for deepening mutually beneficial cooperation between the two nations. This official diplomatic stance is incredibly important. They're taking what is, at its core, a massive commercial transaction and framing it as this shared, high-level effort to stabilize economic relations.
All right, Section 4, by the numbers. We're going to look at order discrepancies, specifically initial estimates versus the official confirmations.
Let's put our financial analyst hats on for a second and break down the actual volume of this deal, because honestly, there was a lot of noise in the market before the ink was even dry. It's really fascinating to see the gap between expectation and reality here. When the summit wrapped up on May 15th, initial news reports and the broader market estimates were super optimistic. Like, they were suggesting an order quantum of around 500 aircraft, speculating it'd be a mix of 737 MAX jets and wide-bodies. But then, on May 20th, China's Ministry of Commerce dropped the official confirmation. Exactly 200 Boeing aircraft. And interestingly enough, the exact models? Yeah, the ministry has kept those completely undisclosed. 200. Now, even though the market was buzzing about 500 at first, we absolutely cannot understate the gravity of this confirmed number. 200 aircraft is massive. It officially ends the drought. I mean, this represents the very first large-scale Boeing order from China in almost 10 years. For Boeing, securing this fleet renewal contract isn't just a win. It's a monumental step right back into one of the most critical aviation markets on the planet. Now for Section 5, securing the supply chain. This is really the logistical backbone of the new agreement. Let's shift gears from the sheer number of airframes to the critical logistics behind them. Because let's be real, an aircraft is only useful if you can actually keep it in the sky, right?
The Chinese Commerce Ministry highlighted a highly specific operational maintenance clause here, and it's the guarantee of adequate supplies. This is a firm commitment agreed to by the United States to provide China with a rock-solid, stable supply of aeronautical components, specifically highlighting engine parts. After years of technical distrust, locking down these spare parts inventories is absolutely vital for maintaining the Chinese fleet.
So why do these parts matter just as much as the planes themselves? Well, think of it as a sequence. Step 1, obviously, is securing the 200 aircraft order, but step 2, guaranteeing that stable supply of U.S. engine parts, that's the real linchpin. It's what actually enables step 3, ensuring long-term technical stability and operational maintenance. You see, for Chinese airlines dealing with the immense complexity of modern fleets, having a guaranteed logistical pipeline for these components mitigates severe operational risks and ensures constant technical availability. It is a huge deal.
And finally, Section 6, Strategic Aviation Growth. Let's dig into the commercial drivers behind this 200 aircraft order. So, if we look past the diplomatic summit handshakes and the supply chain logistics, what are the actual macroeconomic necessities driving a purchase of this size? Well, the official statement made it clear that this order is fundamentally based on commercial principles. Chinese air carriers simply have their own requirements for future growth. So while diplomacy definitely opened the door, it was commercial necessity that walked right through it. China's domestic and international travel sectors are demanding more capacity. Plus, swapping out those aging fleets with modern Boeing aircraft helps these carriers meet some really stringent new environmental commitments and efficiency targets. Bottom line, expanding with these 200 aircraft wasn't just some political favor. It was a hard, unavoidable commercial and operational requirement. Which really leaves us with one final provocative question for all of you aviation leaders watching. Does Boeing's 200 aircraft commercial comeback signal a permanent thaw in U.S.-China aviation relations? Or is this just a pragmatic, one-off alignment of commercial needs and diplomatic timing? It's a massive question, and honestly, the answer is going to shape the aerospace sector for the next decade. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you found this strategic breakdown valuable, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to the Air Flight Space channel for more deep dive industry analysis. We'll see you in the next one.